you say about the performance from your quarterback, Kyle McCord, to finish that drive?
Toughness, that's it. I like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio. It's always been Ohio against the world.
Ryan Day. Never change, buddy. Great radio fodder. You know, we're doing Lions, but I'm gonna mix this in. It's important. So, without anybody's feelings getting hurt, let's just have an honest conversation for a second. Let's establish things that we know to be true. You know I don't value the preseason polls because they're based on nothing. They're based on bias. I don't respect the early season polls, and I don't once again this year, because apparently you just doesn't matter who you play. Well, Georgia won it last year, so they're number one. Are they? Well, Michigan hasn't lost. Right, who'd you play? So I wanted to do something. Because I could make fun of the clown car in East Lansing. That's easy.
That car's off the side of the road.
It is.
They're waiting on AAA.
My whole question is this. If you're a Michigan fan, can you call in and make a good faith case as that you deserve to be ranked number 2 in America right now? What exactly have you done in any of these games that leads you to believe that you are better than, well, for 1, Texas, 2, Florida State, 3, Ohio State, 4, Washington? I mean, tell me why again, other than our helmets have wings. You have played the most embarrassing 4-game schedule in Power 5 college football. You haven't looked dominating doing it. Don't pretend you have. You haven't. You know it. You've watched the games like I have. And yet, a team like Texas has gone on the road multiple times, including to Tuscaloosa, and on the road in the conference, and they're destroying people. Mm-hmm. Florida State played LSU neutral site and went to Death Valley this weekend, where Clemson's back is against the wall. Mm-hmm. Beat them in overtime.
A place that they hadn't won in like 10 years or so.
The point I'm making is, taking the lazy way out, which is what I heard Jim and John do this morning, of, well, it'll all shake itself out, so who cares? No. We do sports radio for a living. Have a conversation about it. Georgia being number 1 and Michigan being number 2, to me, is hilarious. They are the 2 most embarrassing schedules, and they haven't even looked that great playing these embarrassing teams. So if it doesn't matter who you play, why have a poll? Now, could Michigan end up being great? Sure. But the other problem I have is the conversation all centers around Ryan Day. Instead of, Ryan Day just went down to Notre Dame at night and won a damn street fight, which is the epitome of toughness. Oh, I know he called the jet sweep on 4th and an inch, and it was stupid. I understand that. And I had this argument with Cookies this morning when we were doing the podcast. I'm like, Jim, well, define tough for me. Tough is when you're down on the road late with your unproven quarterback, and I need him to make big throws to get me to the point where I can win the game, and they did that.
At night in South Bend.
Tough is I need my defense to come up with a big play at a big moment late to get the football back, and they did that.
At night in South Bend.
Yeah, standing up against 2 NFL tackles in Fisher and Alt, and holding that ground game to somewhat about 50 carries for about 170 yards. They did that. Now, I'm not telling you there's some finished product. And I don't know if it's going to hold when they play you. That's the last mountain they have to climb. But this idea that we're minimizing what OSU went and did this weekend, when you're sitting here playing the Wilford Brimley Diabetes schedule, getting loaded on cupcakes, I'm sorry. I think that's a laugh factory to me. Oh, it'll shake itself out. Yeah, well, great. Then why don't you just take 8 weeks off the air? Come back when it's relevant. In the here and now, I'm watching teams across America make statements.
Mm-hmm. Because even against bad teams, there's certain... You look at what Washington is doing. They're destroying people. Michael Penix is throwing 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in 3 quarters, and then he's done. His day is over. But you see the utter dominance. They're not letting teams hang around. Yeah, you see Florida State has gone out and played 2 tough games already. Yeah, I've seen with my own eye, like, this team is good. And then when you look at Michigan, it's like, okay, you're winning games, but in the third quarter of all your games, it's still somewhat of a struggle. Yeah, you're probably going to beat Rutgers, but Rutgers is driving, and then you got the pick 6, I think, by Sanders still, and now you blow the game out. But that's in the middle of the third quarter, not the first quarter. Like, you're going into the half with 7-6, and then you finally score right before the half. I don't see how they're number 2, man. But Mike, apparently, and then I was looking it up because I just look at the AP voters, the pollsters, and who voted for who. Robert Cessna, he writes for College Station, actually has Michigan ranked number 1. They got 1 first-place vote this year.
I would love to.
That tells me you're
not watching games.
No.
And again, the ranking long-term does not matter. But in the here and now, it's a conversation as to why we even have a poll before the month of October. If you took the rankings off of the teams, and I said to you right here, right now, looking at the resumes, the same way we do to make the playoff, the same way we do to make the NCAA tournament, make your case for U of M. Where would you be right now? Because to me, they'd be no better than 5 or 6. There are teams that have done very legitimate things. And you might be better than them teams, but we have no way of knowing.
No, I mean, I even look at what Penn State did, and my goodness, Iowa, thanks for showing up.
What, 4 first downs?
Yeah, like 76 total yards?
Problem for Penn State. Listen, the advantage Michigan has over Penn State and Ohio State is they have a quarterback who's back and experienced. Drew Aller is still a kid. McCord grew up Saturday night. You have to make big throws in that game, big moments. That's experience you draw upon when he's going to have to do that in Ann Arbor. I just make the point. I laughed. Cookies and John's big takeaway was, well, it wasn't easy. It didn't look good. You went on the road to Notre Dame at night. What the hell was this supposed to be?
Yeah. You're not beating them by 3 touchdowns.
You have people talking about Notre Dame being a contender for the playoff. Mm-hmm. I'm supposed to waltz in their house and blow their doors off? I'm just making the point. The schedule you're playing is the most dishonest thing on the planet. You and Georgia both ought to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And Kenny's not here today because he's under the weather. But, I mean, give me a break. If you're Georgia, why are you number 1? What have you done?
Exactly. You haven't played anybody. But I think a lot of the slander for what Ohio State did just simply becomes because they're Ohio State and you're Michigan, and you can never give them credit. You can't just say, you know what, that was a good game. They played, they went on the road, they beat Notre Dame. Because if it was the other way around, and Michigan goes to Notre Dame, and Michigan wins with 1 second to go in the game,
they would have had to have put a tarp down on John's chair and give him a box of wet wipes.
Right.
Get out of here with that. He would have talked about conquering heroes and the bravery and what it took to go to Notre Dame.
JJ hung in the pocket. He made the call. Blake Corum crosses the goal line. Right, but a lot of times, if you just swap teams and put your team in there, and then you see how ridiculous you sound.
Well, that's why I'm the best source for you, because I hate you, but I respect you. Michigan's a really good team, but I'll be damned. I watch more football than anybody, and I just know when you have teams going out, I'll give you an example. Now, I don't know what will happen this weekend, but work with me for a second. Like this weekend, if Duke beats Notre Dame and is sitting at 4-0 with wins over Notre Dame and Clemson, I mean, no, Duke shouldn't be in the top 5, but Duke should be a top 10 team.
No, actually, Mike, I think they should probably be in the top 5. Because here's the thing. Then what are you rewarding? Why do you have a poll if you're only basing it off what you think they're going to do in the future? If you've gone out there and you've beaten these 2 teams, yeah, you deserve to be in the top 5. It can change week to week. But I'm not going to sit here and downplay you like, well, Georgia did win the title. And they did, but go play somebody.
Like, again, a great example of how funny it is. Why is Ohio State not ranked ahead of Michigan? At least they've left home. Done it twice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because Michigan, they started off 2, and
who cares, though?
It's why
early season rankings should have wild swings based on what you've done.
It requires people to actually watch games instead of just already it's like Mad Lib, for the games where, you already know the story. They already know who they're putting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
See, the problem with the rankings is it's always the back end of the top 25 that changes so much because of what happened.
Right.
Correct.
Colorado jumps up because of what they did. They lose. They jump out. Well, why doesn't the top of the rankings change because of that?
Thank you.
That's what should be adjusted.
That's what I want. And, I'll make an example. Let's say Michigan's undefeated and they drop a bomb on Penn State. Well, I really don't care what anyone else has done. You can make the case Michigan should be number 1 in America.
Right.
But in the here and now, this downplaying of what OSU did against Notre Dame, when in fact what they did is take a step closer to beating you. When you've got live fire and real reps and you got to go on the road at night and prove it, and things don't go your way and your coach is kind of a boner, I think that's going to help you when you got to go into Ann Arbor.
Mike, when you're sitting at 1 and 2, you're pretty much untouchable until you lose. Case in point, USC goes on the road. They win a game at Arizona State. They fell in the polls because of that. They won. It was not pretty. Defense ain't there. They dropped. But 1 and 2, you have to lose a game. It's an unwritten rule, or else you just stay in status quo. You start your ballot off with those two there, and then you figure out the rest.
No, and I watch Georgia and I watch Michigan, and it's the same thing. You're not going to play anybody. I don't know what your claim is. Now, if you're going out and winning 62-0, and your starters are out in the early third quarter, you're putting forth a level of dominance.
Right.
Well, that ain't Michigan.
Well, that's why I look at Washington. I'm like, okay, that's what you do. Pretty much, you just go out there. You can't cover. I don't even think Penix has been sacked this year. And his receivers are just out there making circus. We talk about the Ohio State receivers, but you dominate your team that they are never in the game.
Right.
Florida State, playing LSU. Okay, well, they almost lost to Boston College. Okay, it was a look-ahead game, but then they bounced back, and they did something they haven't done, and they beat Clemson for the first time in, over 10 years. You deserve to be ranked higher.
It would just add to the intrigue of the season to have legitimate, fluid rankings, where what you do actually... Now, again, if you're going to call up and go, well, what have we done to fall from number 2? Well, what did Ohio State do to fall? They had a non-sexy performance at Indiana that they used as a quarterback competition and fell 3 spots. Okay, well, if you don't play anyone and other teams are playing a gauntlet and bombing teams, a.k.a. Texas, why the hell are you ahead of Texas? It just adds to the fun of the season. Otherwise, why have these?
It's the beauty of the college football playoff poll, because that's the real... When that comes out in week 8... Okay, now they can base it off of everything. But unfortunately, even if you're ranked artificially high, you're still ranked.
Well, then no one's ranked until then.
I have always said I wouldn't do a ranking till the first week of October. Get some data points, get 5 games in the mix, and then I can put something together for you. Because I tell you right now, Georgia and Michigan wouldn't be 1 and 2. You want to play these hee-hee and ha-ha schedules, what the hell am I taking out of that? 248-539-9797. John Jansen weight loss fiesta. If you're looking to lose 10 or 100 pounds or anywhere in between, go to idealu.us right now. Don't wait. Idealu.us today. You book the free consultation. You sign up, you get a $200 Visa gift card, 15, 20, even 30 pounds lighter in just 30 days. It's that simple. And it worked for John.
Thank you for calling Comprehensive Urology. Our office hours are Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. For the safety of our patients and staff, we are closely following all CDC and Michigan Health Department recommendations to combat COVID-19 virus. Due to the pandemic, healthcare providers are experiencing extremely high call volumes with limited office staff. This is causing longer than usual wait time. We appreciate your patience. If you are a doctor or calling from a doctor's office, please press 1 now. If you are calling regarding billing issues, please press 2 now. For all other calls, please wait on the line and an agent will be with you shortly.
Good afternoon, Comprehensive Urology. This is Karen, and how can I assist you?
Hi, Karen. This is Michael Moore. Dr. Tonetti had asked me to call to set up an appointment for Dr. Rubenstein.
Okay, have you seen him before?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Okay. What is your date of birth, please?
3/24/1963.
Last name, please.
Moore.
On Lagoon Street in Commerce?
Correct.
Okay. Last time you were seen was in February of 2021.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Okay. Is your phone number 248-762-9394?
Yes.
And insurance, is it still Blue Cross?
It is Blue Cross. Yep. I think it's a different plan, but it's still Blue Cross.
Okay, what's your enrollee ID number?
Let me find it. Where the heck is it? Okay, here it is. It is. No, that's not it. I can't find it right now.
Okay. That's all right.
I might have.
Bring it with you when you can.
Yeah.
Okay, to make an appointment with Dr. Rubenstein, you wanted the Troy office?
The Royal
Or
Oak.
both?
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the soonest I'm going to have with Rubenstein in Royal Oak is November.
Is there anything sooner in Troy?
No.
Okay.
The soonest I'm going to have is November 17th. Dr. Rubenstein, and that would be our Royal Oak office.
Okay.
That would be 2:30 in the afternoon. Is that okay?
Yeah, let me get, write this down here. Rubenstein. And it's November, what date?
November 17th.
17th at 2:30.
Correct.
Got it.
Alrighty.
Okay.
You're all set.
Okay, thanks.
You're all welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Something in the postseason somewhere. Your coach is 1-7 in the last game of the year. Go do something. The whole point is beating them is now expected. You got to win a playoff game. That's where they operate from. Do you think they cared about losing to you? No, they cared that they lost to Georgia because their best receiver got speared by Chuck Cecil.
I hate when mommy and daddy fight.
No, you just can't communicate to Michigan fans.
No, because we've had this conversation. Of course I want bigger. Of course I want to win in the playoff.
What I'm saying, before it gets lost, him talking about they had a bad half, it was not you, Michigan. You don't take credit for that. He's talking about Georgia because had they beat Georgia, they win the national title. They tell you your little Big Ten trophy's cute, but we're going to put the natty right here. We're going to put that trophy. Yeah.
Good. Great. Doug's in Walled Lake. Let's cook. Doug, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, Mike. How are you, sir?
I'm good. What do you got?
Well, I was going to talk about the Lions, but
Talk Lions,
interesting
then.
enough, I would love to comment on the Michigan stuff actually now because I'm not a Michigan fan, but I agree. It's like my mom asked me this week, she's like, "Are you watching Michigan?" I said no. Why? Because they're killing everybody. It's the freaking Liberty medical schedule. It's Wilford Brimley, like you said. There's cupcake after cupcake. They might as well open up Crumbles down there in Ann Arbor. These games are not worth watching, and why are we not scheduling other big games within the out of the conference? I can't even watch Michigan. It's 31-0 at half. Why am I going to bother watching those games? They have not been anybody credible. They have not even scheduled anybody with resembling a game. What Ohio State just did was a big statement, and now they're out for blood, and Michigan better be scared, and Michigan fans better, button down the hatches and get ready for a storm because they're coming, and I'm not a Michigan fan. I mean, I root for them, but I only watch the Ohio State game because that's the only game that freaking matters on their schedule up to that point.
Well, the Penn State game
will be something, but...
Yeah, no, and understand something. I don't think Michigan should fear anyone. I don't agree with that word. I think you got to respect certain opponents, Penn State, Ohio State, but outside of that,
that's it.
You watch football around the country, my concern would be, why do we look so flat? Why are we not dominant? Where's our explosiveness on offense? Why are we in a game with Bowling Green near halftime? Why are we in a game with Rutgers near halftime?
Man, you know the answer to that. You're saving the plays.
That's the biggest myth in all of sports. You don't save plays.
I understand, but that's what you're going to get. We're just saving up all our plays. We don't need to show our playbook.
All right. Drake's on a cell. What's up, Drake?
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, so I want to talk Lions with you, and maybe you can help me out with this. I'm really trying to trust and believe in this Lions team, and I'm really trying to trust and believe in Jared Goff, but I'm just struggling. Like, honestly, I need this guy to push the ball down the field more. If our team is what people say it is, this high-powered offense, he needs to get the ball down the field. I can't watch this guy on 3rd and 10 throw another 3-yard drag route.
Drake,
I can't watch it.
Drake, here's what you got to come to grips with. Jared Goff is who he is, and the reason why the offense works is because he distributes the ball, he finds the open man, he works the play action, and occasionally when you're not paying attention, he'll just do a naked bootleg right into the end zone. But he's never going to be the guy who throws the ball down the field, and you have to be okay with this.
Can I, let me just say this, 2 notes. Drake, if and when Jamison Williams comes back, and you have a legitimate deep threat, because you don't have that right now, and you're not getting any shots down the field, or Jahmyr Gibbs isn't that, I will be more accepting of it. Here's what I would tell you in the here and now, all right?
Okay.
Jared Goff right now, according to PFF, because so many people love it, where do you think he ranks among quarterbacks according to PFF?
I mean, I'm not sure what all goes into that, but I bet, listen, he's playing very efficient ball. I bet he's probably in the top 5 or top 10.
He's
let me just say this.
number 4.
Okay. See, let me say this, and Tim, if you agree with this. And 2 things. One thing, as far as Jamison Williams, I mean, it's crazy to me. I'm at Ford Field yesterday. I see all these Jamison Williams jerseys. People think this guy's going to come in and be our savior. We have no idea what this guy's going to do, and I feel like
he's a wild card. He's an absolute wild card, and I think, look, a lot of people, myself included, I love the player in college. I think he could absolutely turn you into an unstoppable force on offense, but he's got to want it. He's got to practice. Remember, he can't even practice until after week 6.
Agreed. Now, tell me if you felt the same way yesterday. I feel like if we're this team that we're supposed to be, and people talk about us like we are, that game should not have been that close yesterday, and that's on the offense. Like, the offense was just so uninspiring yesterday. I mean, they should have put up way more points than they did.
But the problem is...
I can't help but feel like a lot of that is on... I feel like the success or failure of this team is on Jared Goff's shoulders. And the only thing I can think is, well,
proceed to
a team as good as the LA Rams
at the light. Turn right onto West Outer Drive.
That's exactly what you're doing. And second of all, you're smart enough. Drake, you're missing your left tackle. Then the guy filling in for the left tackle dies. You're missing Vitae. You are down multiple starters that take your offensive line
in 3/4 of a mile. Keep left onto Losser Road.
With duct tape. No, I don't think any. Oh, and by the way, you're missing your pace setter. You're missing David Montgomery, who's the hammer to Jahmyr Gibbs Lightning. You're also limited because Amon-Ra's not 100%. And J-Mo's not playing. Look, if you want the offense to be operating at full capacity, then can I at least have the parts back? I mean, this thing is built that the offensive line's the strength. Well, when you're missing 2 guys to start the game and then you lose one of the primary backup, dude, they were starting a guy, I had to Google who he was. Okay?
At the next light, keep left.
Fine.
He's never going to be Mahomes. He's never going to be Josh Allen. And he's never going to be Jalen Hurts. And if that's what you're expecting, you're going to be disappointed every week. You have to understand, he's a different type of quarterback. And you
at the light, use the left lane to keep left onto Losser Road.
Plain and simple, but people are just constantly like, but I need him to be this. No, you don't. You need him
keep
to
left.
run the offense the way
Then turn left onto Finkel Street.
Last, 12 games.
Well, how about the last 27 games? Take the sample size over 27 games. He's the second best quarterback in the NFC. Now, I get it. Stylistic. Well, then get him the tools to change the style.
I think even stylistically, he's just who he is. But you know what? He's comfortable with that, I think.
At the light, turn left onto Finkel Street.
No, I'm just doing it so I don't have to look at him over there and get yelled at by him.
You're number 1, too.
Thank you. Go Blue. The perfect temperature to sleep is 68 degrees. It's not a debate. It's very simple. So pick up the best mattress on the market, the iComfort Eco. It's supportive, designed to keep you cool, comfortable, and feeling restored. Or Serta's Perfect Sleeper for pressure-relieving comfort and support while you maintain a balanced sleep temperature. Serta mattress, made in Michigan, have been for over 110 years. All you need to do, go to Serta.com. Find a retailer near you.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
This report brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. 696 eastbound before Telegraph, a disabled vehicle in the work zone in the right lane. New crash on 94 eastbound after Van Dyke in Detroit blocks the left lane. An accident leaves one lane open southbound 75 at Mack Avenue. And a crash on the shoulder southbound 75 after Springwells. From better poops to more energy. When you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first
in 2 miles, turn right onto Beach Daily Road.
I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
It feels a little different here in Detroit this year, and the fans are ready for a championship. As a Hall of Famer, I've seen a lot of champions throughout the years, and the team at Bill Brown Ford are definitely on top.
We work hard every day to provide a winning experience for everyone who visits us.
When people buy from Bill Brown Ford, they aren't just customers, they become fans.
As the #1 Ford dealer 2 years in a row, we know a little bit about winning for our fans.
Drive with the champions at Bill Brown Ford in Livonia.
They're America's auto workers. They helped build our country and keep us on the move. And we've always been able to count on them during times of war, peace, prosperity, and tough times. Yet all they've ever wanted is to compete fairly worldwide. and get their fair share of the American dream. Donald Trump calls them great Americans and has always had their backs, from tax cuts for their families to playing hardball with China. Biden, he's turned his back on the auto workers by cutting a deal that uses American tax dollars to help fund China's electric car business. That's a stake in the heart for American auto workers, and they can count on President Trump to change that.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President 2024, Inc.
There has never been a better time for football fans to join the huddle for all the hard-hitting action with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app and use bonus code BUZZER when you place a $10 pregame moneyline wager on any pro football game. You'll receive $200 in bonus bets instantly, regardless of your wager's outcome. Sign up now and discover BetMGM's daily promotions, player props, live betting options, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and sign up today to get started. Go for the end zone with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly and offer resources to help you make appropriate choices. BetMGM.com for T's and C's. 21 plus to wager, Michigan only, new customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117. That's 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Scott.
And this is our TimberTech story. I'm a designer, Scott's a builder. We have our own custom home building firm.
We chose TimberTech because of the color palettes.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Beach Daily Road.
We use TimberTech decking for all of our clients and all of our builds, but we also use it on our own personal home for our own family. We have 5 little kids, and the durability and function that we get out of TimberTech is amazing.
Order your free samples at timbertech.com.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 9/18 through 9/29. Subject to change. DeWalt offer valid through 10/11.
At Staples, you can count on every project being print perfect, guaranteed.
I need invitations and posters printed, and they have to be perfect.
I need beautifully bound booklets and presentations for my business.
Your invitations and booklets.
Go past this light. Then at the next one, turn right.
That's Staples Print Big Promise. And right now at Staples, get $50 off your print purchase of $150 or more. Try Staples and see the difference. Ends 10/14. Exclusions apply. See associate or visit staples.com/print for details.
This hour of the Valenti Show with Rico is brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Call 1-800-LOW-RATE. The Valenti and Rico Show is presented by Femininio Law. Go to GetDavidGetPaid.com.
All right, Lions are in the mix. Michigan is in the mix. Because I think what OSU did this weekend was impressive. No, not everything has to be a shootout.
At the light, turn right onto Beach Daily Road.
You didn't want it to be. You needed to know, could our defense hold up? All I had to hear going into that game is Sam Hartman for Heisman, and Notre Dame's a playoff team, and Notre Dame's got it right. Okay, well, here's what OSU did. They went in against one of the 3 or 4 best O-lines in football, and I thought went toe-to-toe.
Yeah. And Kyle McCord having to convert 4th down plays on a final drive, that was huge, man.
That's huge for a kid that we really, and I still don't feel awesome about
Not
him.
at home, yeah.
But it's a step forward. So my question would be, if you bothered to watch it, since so clearly so many people did not, what do you take from it? And if your answer's nothing, then tell me what you've taken from your schedule.
In 2 miles, turn left onto West 7 Mile Road.
Yeah, I mean, the idea, if I'm a Michigan fan, that I don't get to play a ranked team until November 11th, that's obscene.
Yeah.
And I don't have to sit there and value what you're doing against nothing. I don't have to.
No, you literally have practice, and you just got to make sure your players don't get injured, don't get hurt. You haven't looked impressive. You haven't covered the point spread. You've struggled in the first half of every game, slow starts, which shows me you're not making improvements, because each game, it's like it picks up in the 3rd quarter, And that'll win you a lot of games, and that was kind of their MO for last year, but eventually that caught up to you against TCU. Go to Eric on a cell, 97.1. What's up, Eric?
Hey, guys. Hey, so my thing with the polls, I agree with you. They should be a lot more fluid at the top. And here's where I'm at as a Michigan fan. It goes along with what you're saying. I look at the top 10, and I ask myself, honestly, do I feel confident that my team could beat any of those other teams in the top 10 right now? And my answer is no. So that's kind of my justification for why they should fall.
I mean, I can't make a blanket statement like that. Look, I think USC is all sizzle and no steak. I think you beat them. I think you and Notre Dame would be a war, and it would look a lot like what the OSU game just looked like.
But see, here's the thing about if you play USC would jump out early and score points. You struggle to come out the gate fast. So at this point, USC's playing downhill. So if they can go up by 2 scores, they just got to match you for the rest of the game.
I would just let me know if those two teams play. I'll bet the world on U of M. USC's fake. Eric, all I'm saying is, to me, I laugh that these other teams get to go and play these schedules and have these tests. And when you leave Georgia at 1 and Michigan at 2, you're devaluing doing these things. And for people who say, well, the ratings don't matter, really? Well, if you are lower in the rankings and you lose, guess what happens? You get punished for it, and it becomes harder to work your way back up the polls. Because I have bad news for you. The playoff committee's thing has a lot of resemblance to the regular polls.
And if you are lower in the ranking and you're outside of the top 4 and you win your championship game, you need other people to lose so that you can claim that 4th spot, even though you may have the same record as them.
But, I mean, as far as saying they can't beat other top 10 teams, I don't think that's fair.
I think it'll be interesting.
Me saying that they shouldn't be number 2.
All right, you know what? Let's just play a little game. You want to do it?
Go ahead.
Utah?
Michigan would beat Utah. Hell, Cam Rising's not even playing.
Oregon.
I'd still take Michigan. I got to see Oregon's defense against someone I care about.
Yeah, you already said USC. Washington.
I got to be honest. Washington might be the best team in America.
I think that they are. They're the best team that no one's ever seen.
They're just gutting people, and they've got arguably the best quarterback.